This is a sports catastrophe production.
Hey there, hello, hello, there's Jeff Kerrigan, and welcome you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, January the 6th, in 1994, controversy rose afoot as a lot of things happened. It's the U.S. Figure Skating Championships, the national championships, if you will, held in Detroit at Cobo Arena, which is a very small arena, home to a lot of boxing fights. But Cobo also at one time almost hosted the Red Wings, but they didn't, because that was the Olympia. Anyhow, in Detroit, it was a huge event. One of the key matchups was at the women's nationals between Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan. Both skaters come from different backgrounds. Kerrigan from a much better background than Harding is, mentally, of course. Tanya Harding was a decent skater and all that. She did have asthma a lot, and it ruined her. Harding was on her way downwards in the U.S. national picture. In fact, she qualified for the 1994 U.S. National Championship mostly by having someone phone in a bomb threat, and Tanya being so scared at the sectionals that she was given a free passing to the nationals. Of course, there would be evidence that she planned this thing. Anyway, Tanya Harding's husband at that time and business partner, Jeff Gillooly, figured that he needed to help his wife out. So with Tanya's help, obviously we don't, at that time, Tanya wasn't indicted, but kind of was later on. They would try to destroy Nancy Kerrigan's chances and give Tanya the chance to go to the Olympics in Lillehammer. So on January the 6th, Gillooly hired three people, a getaway driver and two accomplices. One of them would hit Nancy Kerrigan in the knee. That would really hamper her chances for figure skating. So Shane Stant came in with the baton and whacked Kerrigan. Unfortunately, he completely whiffed his chance and he hit her in the leg, but it was painful. Nancy Kerrigan's why resonates in people's minds. Anyway, it was huge that Kerrigan couldn't skate. Tanya Harding won the national championship. It seemed too good to be true, and it was. Anyway, Tanya Harding won. Nancy Kerrigan was injured. The second spot on the U.S. the U.S. team to go to the Olympics was a very young Michelle Kwan. Or was it? As lots of things happened, the U.S. wanted to use that spot, an open spot, to get Kerrigan into the Olympics because they figured she was their best medal hope. Unfortunately, though, things happened. And then they decided they had evidence that Tanya Harding somehow had to do with the attack on Kerrigan and basically wanted to throw Harding out. Sadly, though, Harding gave a lawsuit opportunity, and they knew they couldn't throw her out. So, what did they do? They put Harding on the team, but basically Harding would be questioned. Lots of times, people actually did confess their violence. Gillooly actually testified against Harding in a plea deal. Try to save his own ass. Nice try. So anyhow, the Olympics happened. Harding was there because of a lawsuit. Kerrigan was there as well, and everyone was biding their times, waiting for Harding and Kerrigan to have to figure skate against each other in the Olympics. Of course, they had practice sessions when they gave each other glances and all that. Sadly, though, Kerrigan did improve herself. Harding was a mess. She took 8th place in the Olympics. She just had nothing in the tank. Kerrigan, though, skated pretty well, taking 2nd place. It would have been nice if she won the gold, but she didn't. It was Oksana Bayul of Ukraine who went through a lot of hardships. Her parents died. She was under the care of her figure skating coach and lived with one Viktor Petrenko, who was a great Ukrainian skater too. So Oksana did it. Kerrigan kind of was vilified because she thought that Bayou, when she was crying and all that, had to redo her makeup. But there was some kind of conflict of timing, and Kerrigan mistakenly thought that and basically was turned into a villain, especially when she was not happy with a Disney parade in her honor. I mean, it's understandable how she did it, but people just didn't like her for that and vilified her. But Harding would suffer a lot. Thankfully, though, Harding avoided jail time. But she got a lot of probation, a lot of fines. She was banned from figure skating for life. She had a lot of issues going her way. Kerrigan slipped into the public consciousness, out of the public consciousness in a sense. But Harding was in the consciousness for all the wrong reasons, as she basically got into a lot of trouble dealing with boyfriends who she thinks are going to kill her. She was hallucinating things. She was living in dilapidated trailers. She was basically trying to box and all that and failing miserably. She had a lot of bad things going for her. And, they did a movie novelization of Tanya versus Nancy, and it was great, all that. They did a Eve 6, they did a 30 for 30 ESPN thing on that. It was gracious. And the funny thing is that the Tanya Nancy rivalry actually brought figure skating into one of the most watched sports programs of all time, Olympic stuff of all time. It was probably all for all the wrong reasons, but hey, CBS got themselves a winner and all that. But in the end, it just wasn't meant to be. Tonya Harding paid the ultimate price for trying to be jealous, and and Kerrigan got a silver, which wasn't bad. Could have been gold, but who cares? Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.